Hey guys, I wanted to bring another video to you guys with my experience working with the Fujifilm X HS2. I, of course, do a lot of talking head videos with my camera so far, and that's the extent of my video skill set, if you will. Right now, I'm broadening that skill set, looking for opportunities to do some more on-location work with the video. So definitely looking forward to doing that when the weather changes and as I move into studio, or look for other opportunities to use a camera for the video aspects. I'm by no means using the full extent of this camera when it comes to that, but I did take the camera out since I've had it since it was released on a professional shoot for a wedding, and it did fantastic. Those pictures were great. I love the images that it produced. I also took it out for a fashion shoot, and it did a great job in that as well. But I wanted to see, and as you guys have seen other videos with me using it for the racetrack and Waterford and so forth, to see what else I can do with it. Now, I will admit, guys, when it comes to the XH2, it's a new camera. Fuji fan that I am, I know that it's new. It does not have the same design language as the XT line. It actually really has a design language of the GFX line. As you guys remember, the camera took its design language from the XH1, which that design language poured into the GFX line actually, and that's what the GFX 100S and the GFX 52 pretty much took on. Do I like the PASM dial? Honestly, I don't have an issue with the PASM dial. It does make it easier to get to things if you want to be more simple with it than just using the dials to control. Do I like the dials? Absolutely love the dials, and I actually have gone back out and gotten a XH1 used just because I love that camera so much, and I do love the dials on it. I do love the dials on the XH or XT4, I should say. But when it comes to the XH2S, I can understand why they made the move to that, because I have shot with the GFX 100S, and it has the exact same design language. I've actually has the XS10, and it has the exact same design language. So it wasn't that easy for me to transition or use, I should say, the XH2S, because I was already familiar with that design language from my XS10, which I love that camera, and as well as the GFX 100, which that camera is fantastic. But I wanted to go through my experience so far. I went out on a photo walk with the Camera Mall. It's the local store here in Ann Arbor that I go and get my camera gear from. I have a wonderful relationship with those guys, and honestly, I love pumping them up. But as I look through, and I'm on my iPad here, as I look through the images, and that's been the biggest thing I've heard on some people's reviews, you know, I love the images I've gotten. As the images start to come across the screen, you'll see I think it did a great job. As I've said in a previous video, I believe that it will do just as good, if not slightly better, than the XT4, because the autofocus is better for eye autofocus for humans. I have the eye autofocus on right now, and I think it's doing a fantastic job. The box is pretty much jumping back and forth, but it's nailing the eyes. And that was the biggest concern with the XH1 when it came out. I loved it for the stills. I thought it did a fantastic job for the stills. I used it, and I know folks still do use it, the XH1, for professional work. I was so enamored over the abilities of that camera that after all of these years, getting rid of the bodies I had that I was using for music events here in Detroit for a specific event group, I have now gone back and gotten another XH1 just because I wanted to have one again. But keep in mind that folks didn't like it for video. They didn't like the wall grill in the corners, and that's something still Fuji is definitely working on. But that being said, the stills were great, and you still could get some pretty decent video from it. I wasn't a video shooter at that time, but the XH2 is definitely, XH2S I should say, has definitely done a great job on the autofocus, especially when it comes to humans. When it comes to other subjects, I see that it does a great job on the other subjects, and you'll see as I have some videos coming across. You know, I still need to work on my skills in holding the camera steady. I still need to get used to going between 30 frames a second to 60 frames a second so I can get that slow-mo. I know that some folks shoot primarily in 60 frames per second so that they can be able to switch between the two. I particularly like the look of 30 frames per second, and that's why I do all my videos in that. But when it comes to the XH2, again, as you see from the videos that I'll have coming across, it's more than just the camera, it's the individual as well, just like it is for taking stills. So as we float back to the stills part, my feelings about the stills, I think it does a great job. The clients that I work with for the 2 projects I had as I got the camera thought it did a great job. Do I think it's better than the XT4 autofocus? Absolutely. Even though it may not track as well as I want it to for animal or bird photography, but the other autofocus settings, it does a great job. I actually was impressed that it and this, I hope this is a feature of it, but as I put it on motorcycle, bicycle, it went from the motorcycle to trying to track the face of the person that was on the bike or the motorcycle, and it did the same thing for the car or automobile autofocus. Plane, it latched onto the plane, but I guess that's okay. I don't know how much I care about that. I can just use the wide tracking feature and track a plane, but it's stuck on them. As I go into the video part though, I'm new to it, so my use of this camera, and I'm filming with it right now, has been stellar. I like the video. Again, I need to improve my handling of the camera. I need to improve my video editing skills. I think for me to get the most out of it and be able to provide that service for clients when they come to me for it. So I'm working on that, and I suggest folks do the same. But the one thing I wanted to stress in this video, again, as I show some images here and show some video snippets I did on this photo walk, is that it's a new camera. It is a new camera for Fuji. The design language is that of the GFX 100S. If you're not used to that, or the GFX 50R, or the FX, or I should say XS10, yeah, you got to get used to it, just like any camera. And because of that, I actually see this as a new camera. I will not look at it the same as my XT4, my X Pro 3, my X100V, and treat it the same way. But I can tell you right now, after getting this XH2S, I am looking at my gear and seeing what I might want to part with based on my needs, and I always suggest folks do the same. So gas is a beast, I will admit. I have more gear than I probably need, for sure. So all in all, I wanted to get a quick video together. It's been, I believe, since the announcement, what's that, maybe 2 months? I could be wrong on that. I believe the camera came out in July, so maybe a month or so. I could be wrong on that. I'll probably post somewhere on here on the date that this camera was released when I got it, because I literally got it the day it went live. I think it was July. Either way, I'm enjoying this camera a lot. I'm liking the results I'm getting. You guys tell me. You see the video, you see the images. But I will say again, there are some things that I definitely want to see in the firmware update with Fuji. I want to see, I would love to see them do what Nikon did and put a box that the autofocus stays within, that you can set, and that it only looks for things in that box. I want to be able to size that box and limit what I want the autofocus to actually go after. Because right now, particularly in animal autofocus and bird autofocus, I notice it will jump from subject to subject, and I find that it's easier for me, at least right now, to move it into wide tracking and go after it that way than going after it another way. So it is good. I do like it. I do like the autofocus and what it does. It blows away anything Fuji has got out there right now. So hands down, nobody is going to convince me other than that, because of my experience with it and the fact that I have an XH1 again, I have an XT4, and I see what it does. I mean, I don't even use auto tracking on some of my other cameras that have it because it's just not that good. There is one caveat, or one thing I should say, other than the caveat, that I am having an issue with, and it's not Fuji related. It is actually with my editing software. So I have a ticket in with Capture One Pro. And my issue is that when I bring in my XH2S files, my images, they seem to import and come in at least 2 stops darker than what I took the photo at. So I was glad to see that the person I have the ticket with sees that it is a bug and they've moved it on to the engineers. But it does add extra unfortunate processing for me when it comes to Capture One and the XH2S. Lightroom Classic doesn't do it. Lightroom Mobile doesn't do it. And it doesn't do it for Capture One for any of the other cameras I have for Fuji. But hopefully we'll see a fix for that soon. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But that as it is right now, it kind of sucks because as I pull in pictures from projects and outings and client work, I'm going to have to deal with a photo that's coming in and that the software I'm using is bringing it in incorrectly. So that sucks. But I know they're working on it. I have high hopes that Capture One will take care of it quickly. Really love the software. Really love the program. Moved to it mainly as my main editing software from Lightroom about 2 years or so ago. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed these images. You know, again, I'm working on my video. I got to get in the habit of trying to really slow it down and get some good slow-mo and keep progressing from there. Let me know what you guys think. I really, again, appreciate all the love I've been getting. Thanks for you guys for hitting the thumbs up on the videos so that the algorithm works. And thanks for all the people who are subscribing. You know, I'm really loving where the channel is going. Let me know if you guys want to see something specific. I'm floating back and forth between the GFX 50R and my APS-C censored Fuji cameras and having some fun here. So you guys enjoy this one. Let me know what you think again in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.